You know that feeling, right? You get a raise, feel that amazing rush, but then a few months go by and you're looking at your bank account thinking, where did it all go? It's like you're working harder and harder, making more money, but you're not actually getting anywhere? Well, let's dive into exactly why that happens, because you are definitely not alone in feeling that way.
So what is going on here? Why does this happen? You get more income, your paycheck is bigger, but that feeling of financial pressure just doesn't go away. It turns out this isn't just a random feeling. It's actually a symptom of some very common, almost invisible traps that so many of us in the middle class fall right into.
And really, this is the single most important idea we're going to talk about. True financial freedom has almost nothing to do with how much money you make. Seriously, it's all about how much you keep. It's about creating and widening that gap between what comes in and what goes out. All the traps we're about to break down, they are perfectly designed to slam that gap shut.
All right, first up, let's talk about the money that just seems to vanish. These are the spending traps. They're sneaky, they're psychological, and they quietly drain your bank account without you even realizing what's happening.
This is the big one. This is lifestyle creep. You get that promotion, so of course you get a slightly nicer apartment. You get a bonus, so you start saying yes to going out to dinner more often. And look, every single one of those little upgrades feels totally earned, right? It's a reward. But when you add them all up, your entire lifestyle has quietly expanded to swallow every last cent of your new income.
And this slide just nails the disconnect. In your head, you feel like you're making progress, you're moving up in the world. But the financial reality is that you're just getting better at being broke, but with nicer stuff. That gap, the one that equals freedom, is actually getting smaller, not bigger.
Oh, and then there's this one, the social pressure. Your friend posts these amazing pictures from their trip to Italy, your coworker flashes a new watch, and all of a sudden, your life just doesn't feel like enough. So what do? You finance a vacation you can't really afford, or you buy some clothes on a credit card, all to project this image for an audience you think is watching.
But here's the punchline. It's almost comical. That audience you're trying to impress, they're not watching you. They are way too busy worrying about the image they're projecting to their imaginary audience. It's this crazy, endless cycle where the only thing that actually grows is everybody's debt.
Now this trap, this one is like death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's that $7 delivery fee for lunch. It's that $15 a month subscription you forgot you even had. Each one, by itself, seems so small, so harmless. It's just a tiny price for a little bit of comfort. But these choices are anything but harmless.
Just look at what happens when you add it all up. All those minor conveniences can easily suck $6,000 or way more out of your bank account in a single year. Think about that. That's money that could have paid off a credit card, kickstarted an investment, or bought you some real, tangible freedom.
Okay, so let's shift gears because it's about to get even more serious. Now we're talking about debt, where the numbers and the psychology are literally engineered to work against you, sometimes for your entire life.
You have to hand it to them. Credit card companies are absolute masters of this. They put your huge balance right next to this teeny tiny minimum payment, and your brain just goes, oh, I can afford that, and you stop thinking. But that minimum payment, it's a trap. It's designed to keep you in debt for as long as humanly possible so they can make the maximum amount of profit.
I mean, just look at this breakdown. So you've got a $3,000 debt. If you only ever pay that little $60 minimum, you'll be making payments for over 12 years, and you'll end up paying back almost double what you originally owed. The vast majority of your payment is just going to interest. It's an absolute killer. Oh man, this one is everywhere. You go to the dealership and they hit you with the magic words, "We can get you into a newer car for a lower monthly payment." It sounds like a no-brainer. But what's really happening is they're just taking whatever you still owe on your old car, rolling it into a new loan, and then stretching the whole thing out for 7 or even 8 years. And boom, you're caught in this endless cycle. Sure, you're paying a little less each month, but you're paying for way longer, and the total amount you owe is going up, up, up. Every time you do this, you're just hitting the reset button on your debt, never ever getting closer to actually owning the car outright.
This is a huge one. The bank sends you that letter. Congratulations, you're pre-approved for a $400,000 mortgage. And that feels like permission, right? It feels like they're telling you that you can afford it. But here's the secret. The bank approved you for the absolute maximum you could possibly pay, not what you should comfortably live with. They didn't factor in a new roof, or property taxes going up, or, having a life.
And that just
it hits hard, doesn't it? Because it perfectly captures that feeling. You own this beautiful house, but in reality, the house owns you. Every spare dollar goes into maintaining it, leaving absolutely nothing for savings or fun or emergencies. You're trapped.
All right, for our last section, let's talk about the traps that are a little sneakier. The ones that can actually feel like responsible planning, or, even worse, the trap of just not planning at all. These are the decisions that can have absolutely massive consequences down the line.
You know that voice in your head, right? I'll get serious about retirement next year, after I get that next raise, when things calm down a bit. But here's the thing about building wealth. Your single most powerful weapon is time. It's like planting a tree. The sooner you plant it, the bigger it can grow without any extra effort from you. And time, that's the one resource you can never, ever get back.
And if you don't believe me, just look at the raw numbers here. It is absolutely mind-blowing. If you start investing just $200 a month when you're 25, that can grow to over $500,000. But if you wait until you're 40 to start that exact same habit, you'll end up with less than half of that. Waiting isn't a neutral choice, it's an incredibly expensive mistake.
Okay, insurance. This can feel complicated, but let's just boil it down. You'll often hear about whole life insurance, which is sold as both insurance and an investment. But for most people, it's a terrible deal. You pay really high fees for really slow growth, and your money is basically locked away. A much, much smarter strategy is to buy cheap term life insurance, which just covers you in case something happens, and then invest the difference yourself. You get more control and way more potential for growth.
This one, honestly, this might be the single most dangerous mindset on the whole list. It's the quiet assumption that you'll be the one exception, that your car will never break down, you'll never have a surprise medical bill, that your life will just go according to plan. But here's the truth. Emergencies are not a possibility. They are a mathematical certainty. Sooner or later, something will go wrong. And living without savings is like walking a tightrope with no safety net.
Okay, so that was a lot. And hearing it all laid out like that can feel pretty overwhelming, right? But here's the good news. These traps, as powerful as they are not unbeatable. And escaping them isn't really about working harder or even earning more money. It's about making a fundamental shift in how you think about money.
So here's the game plan, the path out. First, just knowing these traps exist is half the battle. Seriously, from now on, your one and only goal is to widen that gap between earning and spending. Cut your expenses first. That's how you solve the problem. Don't just try to earn more to feed the beast. And finally, change your goal. Your goal is ownership, not a lower monthly payment.
And really, that's what this all comes down to. So I'll just leave you with this one last question to really think about. Is your money going toward maintaining a lifestyle, just keeping up an image? Or is your money going toward building a life with real freedom, real security, and real choices? Because the answer to that question, well, that changes everything.